Hello guys, it's Randall with BitRage. So I want to do an update video here on Bitcoin, what's going on with Bitcoin, where it's at. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this, and probably some of you were expecting an update last night, which I did actually think about doing, but I decided not to, for the very specific reason that there wasn't nothing to say. We had been saying all along this is most likely what was going to happen, and basically the chart is just opening this up. So basically we just have to watch at this point and really see what actually happens, how this really concludes itself. But it definitely proves one specific point, that being honest and letting the chart just tell you what is happening, what's going to happen, in most cases will be accurate. It may be off a little bit, sometimes maybe it's off more than others, but for the vast majority of times it is definitely most really close on technical analysis if you're doing it right and you're not just basing it on one or two things. So I have my trend line up here, and I actually took the time to really try to make this accurate this time, so it wasn't, it's as close I think as I could get it. And I know a lot of people will move it around different places, but I think it's pretty accurate. Now, we did break through on the daily, but we didn't close above. And depending on how you draw this trend line, your trend line might be like straight through this. No matter really how you draw it, we didn't close on the daily over the trend line. It didn't happen. We thought it was going to. We thought it was possible. It didn't happen. And if you remember in our video, and I had mentioned, and I believe Joe had mentioned, that had to happen. That had to happen. And not only did it not happen, but the very next candle is a very bearish candle that closes way below the line, giving clear indication that we are rejecting that point and we're not going through it. Not a good sign at all for bulls, and anyone who is claiming that we're in a bullish trend right now is a clown. They are not somebody you should follow or listen to, because they are not being honest with you. We're not in a bullish trend. We haven't been in a bullish trend. This is not a bullish trend. You can't have all this and then say that this is a bullish trend. That's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. The only way we could have said we went into a bullish trend is if we'd broken through this. Anything above this could be legitimately called a bullish trend, because you break the trend line. That's why we call the trend line. If you broke the trend line, then you could call that a breakthrough. You could call that, the start of a bullish trend. But that didn't happen, which just clearly indicates to us very, 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 very clearly that we are still in a bearish trend. We have not broken out of it. The bulls are weak. Bears are still in control. We saw a ton of volume come in, and I told you guys before, we need to see volume, but I told you specifically we need to see buyer volume. Now, obviously, buyers bought Bitcoin. We know that. But what I'm talking about is we need to see buyer conviction to such a degree that it overwhelms people trying to sell. We didn't see that. What we saw is a bunch of people trying to dump Bitcoin, to get out, to make a profit. Not a good sign at all. Not a good sign at all. So what's going to happen next? What should we expect to happen next? Can we still break through this? Honestly, anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. We could have a burst of energy push in here, and we could break back up and try this again. My personal opinion is if we see buyers FOMO this to try and push this line again, I think the bounce back off it is going to be greater the next time. So if we do a retracement now and allow it to fall, it's probably going to be easier on us than if we try and push this any further. Because the more you try and push this and fall back, it just kind of reinforces the psychological resistance there, that it may not be able to go past that point. So it's not a good thing to have this unnatural volume. And that's what this has been. This whole area here has just been unnatural volume. Basically from, I would say 9,000 up has all been unnatural. Totally unnatural. There's no reason behind it, right? In my personal opinion. I had mentioned in my last video that there is a divergence on the 4-hour chart. This is what is considered a regular bearish divergence, and I'm going to show you this here. So price action is showing a higher high, but our oscillator, our RSI, is showing a lower high. This is considered a regular bearish divergence, and it's found in an uptrend, what is considered an uptrend, but it essentially means that we are most likely going to see the price tank. So it indicates momentum is shifting. And even though, the price is going up, the chances are it's not sustainable. It's not something that we're going to see continue. And I'd mentioned that. And then we had a clown comment on our video saying some nonsense about it not being there. Now, anyone watching the video can see clearly this is a 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. You can see I drew it out. If you don't know what a divergence is, you can Google it and see this is a regular bearish divergence. But there's always a clown out there that is willing to argue with facts, just because it doesn't go along with their emotional trading psychology. So this is the gentleman, MJ Energy. He said there is, let's see here. The bearish divergence is minimal. And, okay, fine. If that's how you feel, I don't have a problem with that. That's totally fine. You're entitled to opinion. But the issue is that up here he says there is no bearish divergence. And I clearly outlined it in the video. I drew it in the video, so only a clown would actually make a dumb statement like that. So he says there is none. Then he says that it is minimal. And then he says there is none. So this is an emotional trader you don't want to actually follow. Then when I call him out on his hypocrisy, bouncing back and forth within hours, saying no, there isn't a divergence, yes there is, but it's minimal. Then he starts attacking my character, saying that I'm spreading terrible FUD, that he was just trying to promote an opposite view, but I'm spreading terrible FUD, which is ridiculous. If he's trying to present an opposite view, he wouldn't have to attack my character. And then he says FUD, 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 FUD all over the place, and even now as Bitcoin has far broken the channel, you'll still FUD and scream bear market. Only a clown would say that because, as I've shown you guys multiple times, the trend line has never been broken. To date, we have never closed daily over our bearish trend line. So to say that we broke through the trend line, somebody who trades would say that. And he proves that. He says cryptocurrency isn't even my space. So he's admitting he doesn't know what he's talking about. Then he ends it by saying praying for demise, spreading FUD and fearful thinking, weak. I'm sorry, bro, you're a weak person. Yeah, nonsense. I highlight this not because it upsets me or not because I'm hurt or I'm attacking him. I highlight it because this is an emotional trader. This is somebody who has a desire to be right because they want Bitcoin to go up. So if I present a technical analysis that shows that it's probably not going up, he doesn't have anything to offer as in facts. So he has to attack my character and just say that I'm spreading FUD. Because that way, yeah, he really got me there, right? So he mentions that I'm just trying to push the price down because I was too stupid to buy in at the low, which, again, he doesn't know where I bought in. He doesn't know my financial status. So somebody who has to attack somebody else's character to prove their point shows that they don't have a point to prove. And the whole reason why he's on our video is right here. He's promoting his TradingView account. He's trying to get a community going there. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. That's why I didn't delete. I could have just deleted this whole thread. Hid this person. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. It just bothers me when people have to lie, cheat, steal, and defraud. Obviously, he hasn't done all that, but you know what I mean, to make their point. Also, a point I want to make is he uses one method. He mentions the boss method. That's the only method he uses. You can't be a successful trader and just use one method and base everything on one method. You have to look at the big picture. You have to look at everything. You have to really address technical analysis as a whole. If you're just using one method, you're going to be a failure. It just doesn't work that way. And the other thing you need to understand too is he talks about moving averages, but moving averages move. And he talks about them in a kind of static way. I've read his stuff on TradingView. And in a static way that like in a week, such and such. But moving averages move. In a week, they're not going to be in the same spot. Important to understand that. So again, I'm not trying to attack him. Don't have a problem with him at all. I even left his affiliate, it's not affiliate, but his promotion here of himself. Don't have a problem with that. But I'm kind of showing you what an emotional trader looks like, and this is one. It's somebody who can't handle the idea that someone is actually presenting an idea that is different from theirs, And then he really was bothered that I called him out for lying. Here's another one I wanted to show you on TradingView, and I usually don't show anything. I've wanted to in the past, but I didn't really want to really hurt anyone. I'm not out to try and, kill anyone's community or anything. But I did want to show you this one because I think it's important to help you guys understand how to identify not only emotional traders, but clueless traders. And this person, Chemo Trading, or Chimo, I don't know how you'd say it. Sounds like a legit name. And again, I don't have a problem with them personally. But here is their analysis, which I don't know. You tell me how you come to just draw this like this. Someone wants to explain that to me, I'd be happy to understand it. But I mean, am I missing something? That's it? I expect the price will go high right now, so this is just, I think it's going to go up. These anticipated movements have 80% probability. Based on what? Based on what? I mean, seriously. If you want to trade it, make sure to invest just 1 to 2% capital, which is fine. You know, most people have a disclaimer because they don't want to take responsibility. Don't have a problem with that. But what are you basing it on? You just drew nothing. It's dumb. And what further, and the reason why I actually highlighted this is this. So this is buy opportunity 3 hours ago. 4 hours ago, it was a selling opportunity. So Bitcoin, 4 hours ago, Bitcoin is going down to 9,900 probably, and probably it's going to continue. It says it right there. 3 hours later, 1 hour later, he does a video, or not a video, but a TradingView post saying the time's to buy. Nothing's changed. Buy opportunity, sell opportunity. I mean, come on. Nonsense. These are people who, private trading signals, I would definitely not take that one up. These are people who are clueless. They don't know the market. They don't know the market. They're just throwing things out, and maybe they'll make it right once, but wow. You just got to be careful. And I want to make it very clear. I'm highlighting these things to educate you, not to trash talk anybody, not to put anybody down. I'm sure these people are decent people just trying their best, but you can lose a lot of money following a decent person who doesn't have a clue what they're talking about. So I want you guys to have the best facts you can have, and that's what we're trying to do with this channel. You'll notice in this channel, we don't fluff, we don't FUD, we don't FOMO, whatever you want to call it. We don't use those words, we don't do it. Basically what we share with you is the hard cold facts, the facts that we use to trade, right? So we don't have any ulterior motives. We don't have a desire to see it go up or a desire to see it go down. We don't care. If I wake up in the morning and it's $6,000, I would have gotten an alert on my phone. But if I wake up in the morning and it's $6,000, fine, I'm good with that. I'll buy in, or I'll watch it to see if it's going down farther, but I'm going to buy in somewhere at that point. If I wake up and it's 15,000, not going to happen, but let's just, go with the FOMO guys for a minute. Fine. I'll find the top, or close to the top. I'll sell and wait for a dip. Doesn't bother me, because Bitcoin is always going to go up and it's always going to go down. You have to learn to figure out when and where and why. So when you see somebody that all they talk about is it going to the moon, run from them. They're a clown that doesn't understand trading, right? I like the word clown. I think it sounds nicer than idiot. So we're looking at the 4-hour chart, and basically this is what is developing on the 4-hour chart. What's developing appears very, very much to be the bull trap we were calling. Now, is there a possibility for this to continue up? It's possible it could try and bounce off this again. Most likely it will bounce off if it tries. So it's probably going to bounce off this trend line if it tries to go back up. It's been trying. There's been buyers trying to push it up, but the power's not there. And let's say, for the sake of the bulls, that we can break the trend line, which we have not been able to do yet since the crash. Let's say we can break it. We have to get through 12,000. Well, we have to get through other points before that, but the point we were looking to test before, which is, basically on the 20th, was that 12,000 line. There's heavy resistance in that area based on multiple factors. And let me just give me a moment here. Let's draw our fib. Try and get this right. All right, that's pretty close. It may not be exact, but it's pretty close. It might be a little bit different than my other video just because it's hard to see the exact, wicks when you're zoomed out like that. But here's the point. So we did get through, but we broke back down through this fib line. So what does that mean when we come back up? Is that support now or is that resistance? It becomes resistance. This is a misunderstanding a lot of people have. They assume because we broke through it and now we're down through, it'll be easier next time. If we try this again, this is now harder resistance. Okay? It doesn't mean we couldn't break through it. If we had the power, we probably could, but it means that if we come back up, the chances are much greater of bouncing off that. Now we have that, we have the trend line below it, and we have all the resistance from the past, which is huge. And so that's quite a good indication that we probably aren't going to be able to break through that again, not until we do a fair retracement, or we belong in anyways. This is not organic natural growth, right? So if we were to actually break through this, where would we be? Well, we'd be at the 12,000 line. Well, if we could get to that, that's where we'd be looking to break through. We'd have to break through 12,000 to break the idea of a bull trap. Now, it's possible that the bull trap could develop at 13,000 or somewhere around this fib line and just be a bigger bull trap, which would probably mean we'd go to 4,000 if a bull trap developed there. But if we were to break through 12,000, it would indicate most likely that we are not in a bull trap. Because, like I said, we would have had to break through so much resistance. It would indicate that we'd had a lot of buyer favor behind us. I don't see that happening. And if we could break through 13,000, we would have broken into an area that would definitely be looking up for us as bulls. We'd definitely be seeing some favor there. So I've been talking a lot about the bulls here, or a little bit, I guess, anyways. Some people are getting the impression that we're just bearish, that we don't look at both sides. We do. I just gave you everything that the bulls need. All right, not everything, but the basic picture of what needs to happen for the bulls to take the ball here. So let's look at the facts. What are the facts saying? So we talked about divergence here. I have the divergence drawn. It's both in stock RSI and RSI. We could draw it here as well, right? So it's on 2 levels, which isn't that unlikely. I mean, that you'll see that fairly often, not a huge deal. How important is RSI? There's a couple factors that go into RSI divergences. Now, it doesn't mean that something has to happen because there's a divergence, but it adds credibility. So what's the credibility? Well, first of all, we look at the time frame. So this one's from the 18th to the 20th, so about 2 to 3 days. We've seen this developing. Not a huge time frame, so we wouldn't base a ton on this, but we base a little bit, right? We'd take it at face value, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I mean, the run fell right off exactly from this point. Exactly how it was a bearish divergence is supposed to work. But here's what I really want to show you. So I want to show you a hidden bearish divergence. We showed you this in the past, and you can replicate this on daily and 4 hour just using different points. On the 4 hour, you would go from the 7th. But basically, what we do is we'd go from this point here down to where we are. All right, so the price action makes a lower high. What is RSI doing? RSI is making a higher high. Now, if you look at, you'd probably pull that back a little bit, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. So let me do that just so that somebody doesn't complain. All right, so we'll use that. So this indicates it's a hidden divergence. It's different from a regular bearish divergence. You'll notice just because how we draw, it's definitely different. So what is a hidden bearish divergence? Well, a hidden bearish divergence happens on a downtrend, which is what we're in. And it indicates a continuation of that downtrend, or the trend. It would indicate a continuation of the trend you're in. We're in a bearish trend, a downtrend. So that's what a hidden divergence is. So a continuation. So this is quite a strong indicator. It's definitely a strong indicator. And we found that this is what happened. We had, price peaked, it dropped off. It peaked, it tried again. And what were we saying? If you remember our videos, what were we saying here? While everyone was FOMOing, saying that we were breaking through, going to the moon, we were warning people that it could possibly still be headed down, that things were not natural. This was not looking good. The buyer volume was not there. The buyer sentiment was not there. And it took another day. And then here we are on the 22nd. I'm on the 21st, but we have the 22nd candle here. And what's happening? We're dropping, right? So it's important to understand that we've had indications all along, good indications. This is a good indication. A hidden bearish divergence is a very good indication. Now, we wouldn't just take this, just this, and make a decision off it, but we take it as a huge, huge indicator. So based on this, my anticipation just on this, my anticipation is we still have a little bit to drop, and I don't think we're there yet. I do not think we're there yet. And like I said before, if we go back up, I think it's worse for the bulls if we keep trying to bang our heads against the wall. It's going to run into fatigue and panic mode, and we're going to have issues, because if we bounce along this trend line, we're going to have to break through at some point. And when we break through this 9,200 area, you're going to see panic. You're going to see all the FOMO people panicking. All the people who haven't sold out yet that are waiting for the moon, panicking and selling off, and most likely 6,000, potentially lower. I would look for between 5,400 and 6,800. It's a large window, but it gives you an opportunity to really look. And when we get to that area, to kind of hone in on that, but that's kind of what I'm looking at happening. So when are we looking at this to happen? I don't know. I honestly don't know, because you have to let it develop. So what we do is we look at the chart, we let the chart tell us what is most likely it's going to do. Then you have to let the chart do it, right? Let it happen. Don't force it, just let it happen. And if other things develop and it invalidates other indicators, then we take the new data and we run with it. But as we stand, we are in a bearish channel. We've confirmed that we are in a bearish channel, a bearish trend, which has really hurt the bulls considerably. It has knocked the force out of them, which they didn't have much to begin with. We're not looking good on the bull side. Just being honest with you guys, that's where we're standing. I can't call it anything but it is. So if you want somebody to lie to you, there's a few channels I can recommend. I can recommend Trayvon James. It's a great channel for people who lie to you. Crypto Crow is another great channel, where there's definitely other channels where you can get some good, decent lying. But that ain't going to happen here. We're just going to tell you what is most likely going to happen. So we had a lot of volume come in, a considerable amount of volume come in. And again, I'd mentioned it was seller volume. It was sell-offs. It wasn't the organic buy volume that we're looking for, because an organic buy volume would continue to grow. So as the bullish trend continues up, you'd see more volume come in and more volume come in, and it would overtake sellers to the point where we'd start, once we broke through this line, we should see some decent push up, like it should drive up, and then you'd see a small pullback, and then you'd continue. And that's what you'd want to see, kind of this healthy growth where you have a good push, where bulls are really pushing, then a retracement, a small retracement, and then a continue up, kind of building that support. So if you fall, you have something to fall back on. This area is big support. It's a quite a decent support area for sure. But I don't think it's going to be able to withstand your panic sellers. So if we break through this line, I don't think this is going to be any issue for panic sellers. I think we're going to find that they will panic their way right through that. That's my anticipation. Now, I could be wrong. I could be proven wrong on that. That's totally possible. But I don't believe so. Now, you notice on our side here, you'd have to move this up, because obviously 4 hour to 1 day, the chart changes slightly, but it doesn't invalidate it. It's still, the hidden divergence is still there on the 4 hour and 1 day. So I can't go over everything and all my reasoning behind my position. It would take too long to explain, because I tend to maybe I tend to over-explain, but I learn very visually and I learn very practically. So when I teach, that's how I teach. So when I do my videos, I do it very practically. I do it very simple, or at least I try to. So to the point that if you're watching this video and you really don't understand trading at all, you should be able to get something out of it. You should be able to get some concept out of it, and at least maybe you'll see bearish divergence and be like, okay, kind of makes sense. And then you can go to Google and look it up and be like, okay, aha, I see it, right? Rather than just pretending everyone who watches our videos is a professional trader, because it's not so. We probably have between 10 and 50 professional traders who watch our videos. A couple of them comment once in a while. A few of them are into Forex and crypto. A few of them are into stock market. So we definitely have a few, but the majority of our target is definitely people who are trying to learn to trade, and that's what the channel is focused on, is helping you guys. So just another thing that you can look at on the chart, MACD is giving us indications not a good time to buy, right? So not a good time to buy. We should not be placing buy positions here if we're reading the charts. Now, if you disagree with that, by all means, buy. I'm just telling you what the chart is saying. So the chart is saying don't buy at this point. It's indicating that it's still going to continue down. Now we do see on the 4 hour here, we do see some green. I do not see that continuing. I do not see that making any progress. VIAM has dropped off considerably. And if VIAM continues to drop off, we're going to be in the same position we were in throughout this area. And what happened at the top here? We had indication, as Joe mentioned in his video. If you listen to that video, and he did that warning, these warnings, these 3 candles, it only dropped off a little bit. But where are we now? Sometimes you have to pay attention to the long term, and this isn't even long term. It's only 2 days. Well, 4 days. So 3 to 4 days. You have to really pay attention. This might say this now, and then it might appear to be going back up. And then you add those indicators Joe mentioned, you know, your candles here, which are basically telling you to be watching. You look at your RSI divergences, and right now we have 3 of them, I believe. I showed you 2, and MACD is saying it's in a decline. Buyer sentiment is weak right now. Bulls are weak right now. We don't have buyer conviction. We haven't had buyer conviction. So where do we stand? We stand where we've been standing the whole time. We're standing in a bearish channel, potentially in a opening revealing bullish trap, which is a horrible place to be. If you bought in at the top around 11,500, it's a horrible place to be in, but I do not anticipate that we will stay low. I believe we're going back above. We're going to set all new all-time highs. I honestly do believe that, but it may take a while. We may not get there right away. So the market right now, very, very volatile. It's been very volatile. That hasn't changed. But we're just seeing a very shaky position to be in. And we are not in a position that I would want to be buying right now. So take that with a grain of salt. Take that with what you will. But that is where the chart is telling us to be. So what are the levels that we should look at? So 10,200, which you're not going to be able to really see that, are you? Is a point that we're looking at to break. I think if we break through that, we're probably going to just drop through 10,000, probably hang around at the top 9,000, maybe bounce around between 9 and 10,000. But I think we'll drop through pretty fast after 10,200. I think the low is 10,159. So we kind of bounced off from that. It was kind of rejected at that point. So I'm thinking 10,200 is probably the point at which you're going to see it bottom out below 10,000. You know, the next point would be 9,800, which is a significant kind of a psychological position. Again, you have a fair amount of resistance in that area, which has now become support. Or should I say it was support? I mean, these were support areas, but we broke through them in the past. So it's support areas that we would have to break through. If we drop through that area, I can see us bouncing around a little bit between, like I said, upper 9,000s and 10,000 for a little bit. The next stop would probably be 94, and I envision beyond that dropping right down to 88. Kind of what I'm thinking. It really is hard to say just because the way the market moves, and because we have so much FOMO buyers in this market, at any point we could start seeing a panic sell, and panic sells pick up momentum very fast. So if you start getting a panic sell at 10.2, by the time you get down to below this 9100 Fibonacci line and you're dropping into 9,000, it's probably going to have some significant momentum, and we could drop really fast, really hard. If that momentum doesn't cut off as we drop into 6,000, we will drop through it. So what we'd be looking at is if we get to that point, which is totally possible at this point, if we get down into the 6,000 range and momentum is not dropping off, I mean, literally you're watching the chart and it's just dropping fast, it's a pretty good indication we're going to blow right through 6,000. But if you see it dropping off and you see buyers coming in, pushing it back, not allowing it to drop, then we're looking for between 5,800 and 6. So basically 5,800 and 65, it might even 57, but in that range, again, you're going to look for momentum once we get to that point. But that's where we're standing. That's where we're standing. That's where we're looking to happen and develop over the next few days. My personal opinion, and I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I am. I've been saying this for a while now. I believe this is a bull trap. I believe the bull trap has sprung, and I believe we have some clear indications that that is the case. But I don't believe we've seen the full fury of this bull trap. I believe it's still yet to unfold, which is going to happen very shortly, most likely, but below the 10,000 range would be my anticipation. So just watch the market, guys. Be careful out there. It's not a good market right now. It's very hard right now if you're going to be buying and selling. So what we like to do is just look at it, find the analysis, what's most likely going to happen, and just watch for it to actually happen and pan out. And like I mentioned in a previous video here, we are coming up on March. We're not there yet. We really need to look to March, probably. It depends on how March goes, but between the first and second week of March is really what we need to be looking to confirm if we are exiting this correction. Okay? If we do not get confirmation at that point, we will still be in the correction until April, and probably in April we'd break out. So we're looking for confirmation in March that we are ending the correction. And again, that's going to be important that we see that. Otherwise, we could go lower and much lower, and that wouldn't be a good thing. So I guess that's about it, guys. I hope that you got something out of the video. I hope you appreciated it. If you did, please like it to let us know that you do appreciate our videos. That means a lot to us. We take time out of our day to do these videos when I could be trading. I could be spending the time trading and making money, or doing a lot of different things. But I make the videos because I enjoy teaching. I love crypto. I love charting. I love trading. And I just want to share that with you guys. So if you appreciate that, like and comment below and tell us that you appreciate our videos, and tell us how it has impacted your ability to understand crypto better, understand the trading and the market better. We love reading those comments. We do read every single one. So keep them coming. We do appreciate that. Share the video with your friends. Share it on your Twitter, on your Facebook, on your Instagram, and just share the love. If you know somebody who is into crypto, share our channel with them. They may benefit. Maybe they'll save themselves from losing a bunch of money on a bad trade. We definitely appreciate that when you guys do that. Some of you have mentioned you do. Last but not least, if you are subscribed, thank you so much. If you're not yet subscribed, hit that button. It's not hard to do. It's an easy click, and once you do, there will be a bell that will pop up. Hit that bell so that you are notified as soon as we drop new videos. Absolutely do not want to miss that. We will be doing a ton of videos this year. That is the plan. I have a lot planned. I have a lot on. I have a list of things I want to do, videos I want to do, so a lot planned. I'm working on consolidating my businesses and my work so that I can focus more time on the videos. Even though I'm not making money on it, I do really enjoy teaching and sharing. So that's the goal, that is my plan, and that's what we're looking for in this year. So thanks so much, guys. Hope that you really benefited from this video, and wishing you all the very best in your trading. Take care.